Bucks' big 5 takes out of round 15.
I'm just looking across my Buck stops here for the morning, and it's just the word that comes to mind is love.
Love.
This is a
Positive.
loving. This is a loving.
You've gone down positive street.
Yeah, this is huge. And the Blues fans are gonna love this. I'll start with them. Charlie Curnow, built for finals. He is made for September, and I'm sure we're all looking forward to seeing how he goes. So 4 games in 2 years. So he comes in,
crazy.
and no one really even is thinking, has any expectations of this kid when he comes in. So he comes in quite slow, has a quiet game in round 1. Then he builds and builds and builds, leading the Coleman, and has shown his mercurial nature. He's either all up or off. He had a really quiet start to the game, and then he just went bang. I reckon he felt the energy of the crowd, and if he starts tapping into that, the atmosphere, the energy, and his capacity to draw that, because he'll just in 5 minutes he could take a game away from you. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens.
That is why they are a sneaky, sneaky chance to do something a little bit silly this year, Carlton. And the fact he got back and played footy last year, I thought, why would you risk him late last year, But they did. He played the last couple of games, gave him the confidence to get up and going again. And
we see that a lot where players get a few games at the back end of a year, and it just gives them the confidence to go on. The other thing with him that everyone's forgetting, he has the biggest tank, one of the biggest tanks in their side. He's playing nearly exclusively close to goal at the moment, but who knows where he could go with his footy if he maintains this structure with stuff with his body. A second, and this is a little bit of an under the ether love, and that is for Mark Blicavs. I reckon he would be nearly Chris Scott's favourite guy, because with him in the side, there's plenty of other things that he can do, including Jeremy Cameron, who we saw go into the guts. I'll explain that after this. But I think Chris Scott treats his Geelong players more like men than most
They've earned the right,
coaches.
though, haven't they?
They have, and they with their behaviour, absolutely. But you need to be given that capacity to actually do it. And I think so. Blicavs, he's come in as a long distance runner, pretty much, or a middle distance runner.
Yeah,
he's the best runner in the competition by a mile. And now he's proven that he play key back. He plays off a wing. He plays in the ruck. He can play as a forward if need be. He gets up and down the ground. They start him on the wing and they ruck him, and it means they can spit Dangerfield forward from there. Someone rolls up and plays on the wing. 2 weeks ago against West Coast, Blicavs rucks off the wing. Tui goes down and plays as a seventh, and they just changed the entire game. West Coast don't know where the extra player is. Geelong take 35 uncontested marks and just control the game and put it to sleep, and they get the win.
They got the most interesting group through that middle where they can trust them to play wherever they want or need to. So Duncan, Smith, they don't play. What position do they play? Well, where they want and where they're needed. Menegola and Tui. And then you throw Blitzars into that mix.
They are a side that their wingers, the way sides use their wingers tells you a lot about them, and they play with more autonomy, as Chris Scott just mentioned, than most. Melbourne have wingers that run up and down one side.
Yep.
Carlton have wingers that run up and down one side. Fremantle do, because the winger supports the high back and the high forward, and that creates structure on the fat side. But Geelong they play with free form.
Gary, there's no way, shape or form Carlton will get beyond week 2 of the finals. Hey, I've read lots of those messages in recent times about teams that have got no hope and will fall away in finals. I hope people that send those messages they revisit when they're right or wrong.
Yeah, well, and that's on the other side as well. You can only make a call based on what you see. We don't know what Carlton are going to do when they get to finals, and it's fair enough to have an opinion that they won't get beyond the second week.
I love it.
What we're saying is that we're seeing the type of characteristics that are required: contested ball and the ability to ride momentum. Number 3, Charlie Dixon. Since he's been back, Port have gone 3-1, but I reckon he has unlocked most of what makes Port Adelaide great. In 4 games, he's taken 10 marks. So he's key forward, second ruck, or even primary ruck now with their dearth, but he's only taken 10 marks. And he's kicked 6 goals across 4 games. But the role that he plays has released Finlayson, has released Todd Marshall, who's come to the fore even further. Offensively for Port Adelaide, they looked bereft of any idea of where they were going, what they were doing in the first 5 weeks when they went 0-5, and they missed this bloke. And the confidence that it gives the ball users off half-back, that you know that if the shit hits the fan, that you've got that long down the line target to go to, and he just gives you confidence to build around. So he doesn't have to be a best on ground. He doesn't even need to be in your best 6, 7, 8 players on the field, but he gives them a structure that they've built off, and that's why we're seeing Port Adelaide play better footy. Quick one, thought the COVID challenges of the Swans, great teams find a way to handle situations that are challenging, and Longmire mentioned that after the game.
Dylan Clark was is Dylan Clark who plays for the Swans? He was the one that came in and
Kicked a
went
couple
straight
goals.
to Sinclair.
And kicked a couple.
And Harms went to Neil on Thursday night. There's still room. I know you're a doubter.
No, look, no,
I know you're a doubter.
No, not at all. At the right time, a run with is crucial. And in big games,
Any team that does not at least try and lock down Lockie Neal, at least try, because he's nearly everything to that Brisbane side. You have to put work into him.
and who would you say if it was Melbourne? Who would you put? Who would you put time into in the Melbourne side?
I'm not telling.
Oliver. I know.
Of course,
You're
it's
in
Clayton
love with
Oliver.
it.
The
You're in love
games that
with the
they've
bloke.
lost, when teams have went to Oliver and were able to subdue him.
When we were up and going, and we had Levi Greenwood and Chris and Maney was the other one, and Maney would do a job off the wing. He'd do it as a forward on a defender, running defender, and he could go in the midfield if need be. So we always, in the bigger games, we definitely had run with opportunities.
Converted.
And the last one is the biggest love of all for me. Brayden Maynard played his 150th game on the weekend, and I reckon he always goes under the radar, but I love the bloke. He's hungry, he is team-orientated, he is honest, and you love to build a team or a footballer in his image. He's putting together a really solid career, and the way he goes about it is brilliant to watch.
I'll give you a couple of my little ones just as a little heads
Go
up
for it.
as we go. The lizard Blakey is becoming more and more dangerous. Did you see him on the weekend? He's getting more and more confident. He's starting to take on tackles now. He took on a tackle, burst through the middle, and then he's kicking. I'm going to try and unpack his kicking tonight on the couch. The way he kicks the footy, it's as soft a touch as I've seen for a long time.
He has got so Darren Jarman used to be able to kick the ball in 15 different ways to get it to where he needed to get it to, and I think that's what you're alluding to, because
Touch, like a butterfly.
He can lob it over and just a little 25-metre pass. He can punch him.
Yeah.
He definitely has got some skill and some creativity, and of course he's growing. The more experience you get, the more confidence, the more you play with the edge of your capacity. And I've got no doubt that that's coming.
Ryan Clark is his name. I said,
there you go.
Dylan, I looked into the box of our producers and they're all
Yep,
nodding their head. Yeah, you're right.
Brooksy,
You're
one of
right.
the best producers in the business.
Yeah, well, not on that occasion he wasn't, Big Bristle.
Hey, mate, I got about three first names wrong every Monday, so you're going all right.
I know you do. Ollie Wines, the Brownlow medalist, is just getting motoring again. He's had his issues. It's not all about possessions for Ollie, but when he does get footy, then they are much better. He had some issues earlier in the year. We know that he missed some footy, but it's just a bit of a... When he gets going, Ollie Wines, Port Adelaide are different. I know your man is important to them.
Well, I think if Charlie Dixon's not there, it affects a bloke like Ollie Wines even more, because Ollie Wines needs to get to contests. So you're going to get contests and clearance. The other way you get contests is by knowing where the ball's going to go, whether it's either the opposition long down the line or yours. Now, you need to know where Charlie Dixon is to know where Port Adelaide are going. And Ollie Wines just gets the fall of the ball there, and that gives him another 6, 7, 8 opportunities in contested situations
And
a quarter.
Charlie also needs Ollie to get him the ball into his general area. I've got Jack Viney was the epitome of leadership. Josh Kennedy was the epitome of a proud footballer on the weekend. So 5 goals at this stage of his career when he's winding down. He just looked at his club and, and they're going to be a much harder proposition as we head home, the West Coast Eagles. But I was watching that game when I got home in the last half and I thought, gee, they're coming, Essendon are coming. And he just said, no, not while I'm still there. We've got to have it. We've got to celebrate. We haven't won at home for a long time. I'll get us across the line.
And this is a bloke that had to be talked into staying and keeping going, because if you talk about physical capacity, he would be lucky to be at 50% of his capacity at his peak. Like he is a compromised physical specimen right now.
Yeah.
But then that just tells you how big his heart is, and his
Smarts.
drive and smarts to be able to will himself. Like what an amazing player he's been in that trade to go across to West Coast and premiership player. And to be such a strong leader for them over a long period of time.
I'm watching Richmond and Geelong and enjoying it and immersing ourselves in the game. Like a few other games you've been at as a commentator, you would understand. Sometimes your head's right in it, and the Tigers are just struggling, and you're thinking, how can they change the feel of this game? And you're looking around, and there's no Koch, and Presti's off the ground, and you go, Liam Baker. He was playing half-back and doing what he always does, just competing hard. Did you know that Liam Baker was capable of moving into the middle of the ground and changing the complexion of a game of the magnitude of that? We've all come to be lovers of Liam Baker, forward and back. Now you can throw midfield. He was stunning in about a 15-minute block.
And 2020 played most of the year as a wingman, so he's played everywhere. And when you bring that level of competitiveness and intensity to your football, you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You can go and like you talk about coaches' pets and Blitzavs for Chris Scott. Liam Baker would be that for Damien Hardwick. To know that he could put him anywhere, anytime, and he's going to have an impact.
Uncontracted, I read. Uncontracted with the eyes of the West looking at him greedily, as they would. Of course you'd look at him greedily. He looks like a Richmond man to me, though.
I agree.
I don't know anything, but he looks like a Richmond man.